Joe Kleen, Southern Hospitality, February 11th, 1990, 47. Joe, a self-proclaimed preferrer of mountains over beaches, awakens with a smile to the faintest rumble of distant waves lapping on shore and the sweet drone of his love's sonorous snores, the sweet's curtain swaying in the breeze, allowing him the wan rays of pre-dawn tropical twilight melding with the moonlight as they bathe his beloved in sufficient illumination to highlight her ethereal beauty while simultaneously washing away any scars or age lines that have accumulated in the decade that they have known one another. My dove, hiding in the coverts of the cliff, show me your face. Let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. He whispers as both misquoted prayer and heartfelt adoration of his bride. Joe smiles, sniffs back a tear, and slips his Timex off the tiny table next to their queen size and onto his left wrist. Spying his gym shorts on the floor, he scoops them up, slips into them, and walks 3 steps from the bedroom to the bath across the hall after gently closing the bedroom door behind him. Joe smirks as he notes the Timex digital display of 6:16 and turns off the watch's alarm. Guess I should know better than to think I could possibly sleep until 7 o'clock, no matter how late I stayed up, he says before attending to morning ablutions. While Joe had found the sight of his wife bathed in twilight as the sound of waves washed over them magical, the sound of coffee pouring through an automatic drip machine accompanied by its aromatic enticement proved a true diversion of his attention from the profound to the mundane. Justin, entering the suite's dining area from the main balcony, nods at Joe, declares, "I made coffee," and grabs 2 mugs from a cupboard. "There's sugar in powdered cremora, but no cream," he adds. "Yuck," Joe responds, accepting the empty mug from his brother. "Fake creamer. Thanks," he adds, lifting his mug skyward. "I'll leave that stuff to Philly. Black's where it's at," he declares, pouring his cup of revitalization. Raising the cup to his nose, Joe inhales deeply, sighs, sips, and asks, "Slaving away?" Justin shrugs his right shoulder, brings his coffee cup to lips with left hand, smiles, and says, "A man may work from sun till sun, but boss's work is never done. I wouldn't call it slaving, just TKOB before the boss wakes up and declares it's party time." "I thought you just said you were the boss." "Don't be silly. Any man who thinks his wife isn't boss is in denial. No Egyptian river for me. Misty's better at being boss than I am. She's welcome to it. Until you say no," Justin adds, nodding toward the open sliding glass door that leads to the suite's large and lavish balcony. "What's that mean?" Joe asks, following his brother's lead and walking into the cool tropical dawn. "Just something I've observed. Misty does what she wants until you don't like it. Then you seem to wrestle the reins from her without her being aware. That's not on purpose?" he adds, head tilted to the side. "I find it masterful." Joe laughs. "Well, if you're right, then it's more subliminal than masterful. But thanks. She's way more practical than I am. Hey," he adds, "I'm going to grab some fruit from that big bowl. Want some?" "Already ahead of you," Justin replies, holding up a half-eaten apple. "We'll need to get some provisions. I asked the hotel clerk yesterday if there's a market within walking distance, and she said there's one just south of here, but they're probably not open at 6:30 on a Sunday. Restaurant down that way, too. There might be something open in the hotel. I know they have a little market. Saw it last night as we left the casino. You really don't like gambling, do you?" "Me? No. I'd rather spend my money on something tangible rather than pie in the sky. Probably why I'm not self-employed," Joe adds with a wink. "So no bet on your tennis game with Daryl and Julie?" "Oh, that's different. I don't mind a little wager where it's up to me to win rather than chance, just so long as it's just that. A little wager and up to me to win." Justin nods, drinks his coffee, and suggests, "Why don't you grab a banana or something from the bowl, and when we're done with our coffee, we can see if that market's open. The bosses might like it if we rounded up provisions before they deemed it time to arise from their feather beds." "Okay," Joe replies, nodding. "Hey," he says, "you ever wonder if that whole princess and the pea story is really just a metaphor for a full bladder? You know, the princess has to pee and therefore must rise from her bed to be comfortable?" "Nope, not until you just mentioned it." "Yeah," Joe says, nodding his head repeatedly. "That would make a lot of sense." "Oh," he adds, a eureka sizzling through his head, "but only if the story's written in English, right? P and P would have to be homophones for it to be punny." "Okay then, Joe," Justin replies, shaking his head. "On that note, why don't you grab your fruit and we'll throw on shirts and flip-flops and head to the hotel and see about providing for the sleeping, full-bladdered royalty."